Well, looks like the housing market is going to have a little bit more trouble because of the rising homeowners insurance costs. So, we're going to talk about that this week and all sorts of other things. So, thank you for joining me tonight. My name is Jackie Baker. This is your live dose of real estate reality. So, we talk about all things real estate, housing market, all of that fun stuff. So, house rules. If you're new here, I want to go over the house rules with you. If you have a question, please make sure you put QQQ before you write your question so my fabulous producer can find your question and put it up on the screen. Okay, very important. I also have a poll. I do a poll every week. This week's poll, it's asking rising homeowners insurance premiums are making housing less affordable. How is this impacting you? Is it so the answers are it's making me delay buying a home. I already own and my budget is tight. I'm considering selling my home, or it's not affecting me yet. So if please answer that poll. I want to know. We're going to reveal the results of the poll at the end of the stream. Another thing, I want you to share your wins, your housing wins. Right? Everybody's so frustrated with the housing market. Everyone feels like I'm not going to be able to buy a house. I'm not going to be able to afford a house. People are doing it. People are buying, they're selling homes. So put it in the comments. Did you just close on a home? Did you get an offer accepted? Tell us about it. Put it in there. We're going to celebrate the wins about halfway through the stream. We're going to put those wins up on the screen and we're going to celebrate everybody. So, thank you all for being here. First thing I want to talk about, just going through my notes here. I want to talk about the interest rates first and foremost. I like to share that, like to start the stream off with that. So let me pull that up. So the mortgage rates today, this is what I want. This article because I thought this is the better one. This is Mortgage News Daily. All right, 30-year fixed went up slightly, just a tiny bit, 0.2, 0.2%. So it's at 6.54. It's still hanging around 6.5%. 15-year fix, we're looking at just under 6%. That's a good deal, 5.93. And 30-year jumbo, that's also the same as the 30-year fix. We're looking at 6.5%, 6.55. Now, I don't know if you've heard, but now Jerome Powell is talking about doing cuts to the federal funds rate starting in September. How is this going to impact the mortgage rates? You know how it works. I talk about it ad nauseum. It does have the expectations of the cuts to the Fed rates can have an impact on mortgage rates, but it doesn't completely correlate to the mortgage interest rate. So meaning that if the Feds cut the federal fund rate, it doesn't mean that mortgage interest rates are going to go down automatically. This doesn't work that way. Mortgage interest rates are impacted by the 10-year treasury yield. So, but there is a possibility that them cutting the federal fund rate could have an impact on interest rates because it's showing that there's some positivity in the economy, in the markets. So that could have an impact, and it could bring down mortgage rates. So we shall see what happens. I'll tell you what I've been dealing with just really quick this past week. I did get. Well, we're still negotiating. We're still in attorney review, but I was able to get my client's offer accepted on a home here in Bergen County. Another client I've been working with for a number of years, and I got to tell you, the house we put an offer on, it's been sitting on the market for 4 months. 4 months, and they had it listed at a very high price. So it's when we went to go see it, it had already been dropped by $400,000. So it wasn't priced, honestly, it was not priced correctly from the get-go. Had they priced that where it is now, it would have sold a lot quicker. So anyway, so that we were able to get that actually under list, which is, I'm excited for my client. But again, I don't want to get too excited. We're still in the attorney review process. We're still working things out. But if this all works out, this is going to be an exciting, really exciting for him. So, but with that, here in Bergen County in New Jersey, and but most of New Jersey, we're still seeing some bidding wars. Not as insane as it's been in the past. We're talking maybe 3, 4 offers. I check in with other agents in my office, and I work on a team. I check my teammates, see what's going on, and we're seeing consistently not really crazy bidding wars. I mean, I did show a house last week where I think they'd already had 10 offers on it, but honestly, I just think it was underpriced just a little too much. And that will happen sometimes if the price is really low. It's gonna bring everybody, everybody and their brother out to bid on the house. So anyway, so that's what's going on. Tell me what's going on in your market. I'm an inquiring mind. I want to know. I'm hearing a lot of there's still pockets of sellers markets around the country. So if tell me where you're from. I want to hear what's going on. All right. So let's talk about what's going on with these homeowners insurance rising rates. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I personally am dealing with this right now. We got our annual bill renewal notice for our homeowners insurance. Our homeowners insurance is going up 27%. 27%. And this has been going on for the last several years. And it's because of all these natural disasters. My husband talked to our insurance company. He's like, 27%? What the heck? Why? And they were like, well, because of all the claims that have been filed from all the natural disasters. And he's like, oh, so everybody else is, filing claims and we have to pay for it? Yeah. And that's what I said. I'm like, yeah, this is what's going on. This is what's been going on for years now. So I thought it was important to bring it up because it is affecting housing affordability. And I thought it was important, an important topic for discussion. So without further ado, let me where are you? Okay. Sorry guys. Here we go. Okay. Gotta make this bigger. Okay. All right. Home insurance cost. Hello, Jackie. Learn how to speak. Home insurance costs so much now that people can't pay their mortgages. Another looming threat could make things even worse. Mortgage delinquencies are on the rise, especially among vulnerable first-time home buyers. In the span of a year, Otto Katrina's property insurance premiums went from $7,000 to $12,000. The real estate agent who has a home in the Sierra Nevada mountains close to Yosemite National Park is on the California FAIR Plan, a state-run insurer of last resort for people who can't get insurance through traditional insurance company. Katrina has been on the FAIR Plan for about 3 years for his mountain house. Katrina counts himself as lucky. He can afford to pay the higher premiums, but as someone who helps people buy and sell homes for a living, he worries about the impact of soaring insurance costs on aspiring home buyers at a time when affordability is already so strained. Insurance costs are largely unavoidable. Homeowners who have a mortgage are required by their lenders to have home insurance. Even if aspiring home buyers can qualify for a mortgage, some can't ultimately go through with the purchase because they're unable to obtain the required insurance due to the high cost. They can't buy it because they can't afford it. That's diaper money. That's money for food that you're taking off the table. Owning a home has long been at the core of the American dream, but millions of home buyers and homeowners are now waking up to a nightmare of ever-rising insurance costs. After jumping 20% between 2022 and 2024, the average annual cost of home insurance has projected to go up by 8% by the end of 2025, according to the insurance comparison website SUBSCIRBE. The average homeowner is expected to spend an additional $261 on insurance premiums this year. Climate change and tariffs are likely to push up insurance costs as homes sustain more damage from natural disasters and costs to repair them rise. For well-off homeowners, higher premiums amount to a headache that they may complain about but can afford to solve. For others, rising insurance costs present a serious threat to their financial well-being. Homeowners who have mortgage backed by the Federal Housing Administration, who tend to be first-time buyers with lower incomes, are particularly at risk. Their rising home insurance costs are forcing them to make trade-offs, and some are falling behind on their mortgage payments as a result, real estate experts told Market Watch. Data show Data show a growing share of FHA-backed mortgages are becoming delinquent, which could lead to foreclosures down the road. For these borrowers, a sudden spike in insurance payments could have a big impact. Unlike the principal and a mortgage payment, insurance premiums and property taxes fluctuate so much that it's making it very, very difficult for people to make these payments. Vulnerable homeowners face a payment shock from rising insurance premiums. The national mortgage delinquency rate was up 16 basis points from a year ago to 3.2% in May. Most of the increase was due to missed payments on FHA loans, according to the most recently available data from Intercontinental Exchange. FHA borrowers' financial distress can be attributed partly to the rising home insurance costs. Lois Healy, a housing counselor in Florida who is certified by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, said she's been getting more calls from FHA borrowers struggling to make their mortgage payments because of surging insurance premiums and home repair costs. There's been an uptick in mortgage delinquencies and foreclosures in the Fort Myers, Florida area that feels similar to the subprime mortgage crisis. With 2 decades in the industry, the 68-year-old witnessed reckless lending during the subprime crisis that led to widespread foreclosures after borrowers got mortgages they could not afford to pay. Let's go on. Okay, so why FHA borrowers are particularly at risk. There is evidence linking rising insurance premiums to mortgage delinquencies. In one study that was circulated by the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas, researchers connected higher premiums to the higher likelihood of mortgage delinquencies by looking at data from insurance policies held by 5 million borrowers. The effect was more pronounced among FHA loans. Stephanie Johnson, one of the co-authors of the paper and assistant professor of finance at Rice University's Business School, told MarketWatch. FHA borrowers are particularly susceptible to sudden increases in payments because these borrowers are close to the limit of what they can afford before the premium increase happens. Data on mortgage-backed securities indicate that FHA borrowers tend to have lower credit scores, a lot of debt relative to their income, and little in savings. FHA loans typically require a down payment of just 3.5%, and many lower income borrowers even get down payment assistance for that small amount. Nearly 80% of first-time homeowners with an FHA loan have less than 1 month's worth of savings to cover their mortgage if they suddenly find themselves without a job or face a sudden medical emergency. In other words, if insurance premiums were to go up even more without a corresponding increase in incomes, delinquencies could go up in the months and years to come. So there's a lot more to this, but this is a problem. It's a big problem. Listen, I'm all for FHA loans. I've helped many clients who've used the FHA loans, VA loans. I'm all for that. But it's still super important that they have the money saved in the emergency funds, right? Every video I talk about, well, at least the ones I talk about where you're preparing to buy a home, these are one of the things you need to save for: your closing cost, your down payment, your closing costs, emergency fund. All right. This is not going away. The homeowners insurance, the cost, it's not. It's going to continue to rise. And if you're in one of those states like Florida, hello, it's hurricane season. Get ready. You got to be prepared for this. So this was a little disturbing to see this. When I read this article, that this is going to be, that this could lead to foreclosures. And I've even heard, and I've talked to some agents out in Texas too, that because of just the property taxes have gone up, people are now facing possible foreclosures. MHO8, what's going on? Quit building disaster-prone areas. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. But I think, everybody really needs to be educated. If you're going to be buying a home, you're a first timer, you got to have all the funds in place. And I know it seems impossible. It's very challenging. Trust me on this. You want to take that time to make sure you have the money saved. You don't want to find yourself in this situation where you're gonna miss a mortgage payment. Grim BK went up 27%. Goes claims in New Jersey or just general all over the country? Just general all over the country. It's not just in New Jersey. So if there's like a disaster in California, you had the wildfires, whatever, and people are filing claims, everybody gets impacted. So yeah, it's ridiculous. So yeah, chime in if you guys have any comments. If you currently own a home and you have homeowners insurance, like did your rates go up? I want to know like what's going on. Closing costs are the one thing's making me nervous. On top of the normal closing costs, buying buying a lawnmower and snowblower as additional closing costs. Be ready for. You know what? That's a great way to look at that because that's really awesome that you're including that. You're gonna need it. You're these are things you're going to need. So that's really smart. I think I'm gonna start suggesting that to people. Save your money. Get your save money to get your the stuff you need for the house. MH says, friend of mine owned near the water in Alabama and Florida, just a mile inland makes a huge difference. It does. But listen, look what happened to us here in New Jersey 13 years ago. We had Superstorm Sandy. We were just talking about this because we had Hurricane Erin, just came up the coast. Thank God it didn't hit Jersey, but there was a lot of beach erosion. I mean, even though it was really far out to sea, there were a lot of beaches. Oh my God, like really bad beach erosion. And my family and I were talking about, like, we were recalling Sandy and how bad that was. Who would have thought? Who would have thought here in New Jersey we would have had that big of a disaster? But they called it a superstorm because you had the hurricane, but it was really a tropical storm by the time it came to Jersey. But there was another storm front that was coming in from the west, and it collided and it caused this like major storm. You would never think, but listen, you could be a mile inland, but it doesn't matter, you know? Um, Anything can happen. Ariana says it's not for the people who live in a relatively safe area from disasters have to pay for people who live next to the ocean that is hurricanes. Listen, that's what my husband said to the insurance guy. He was not happy. But I'm like, listen, this is how it is. This is how it goes. Bucky says, I'm afraid my insurance won't really cover everything if something does happen. Well, you know what, Bucky? I'm glad you're bringing it up. That's the other thing too. And I've heard stories, and my partner is dealing with this right now. My partner, my teammate, she has a house down the shore, Jersey Shore, and there was a storm 2 years ago that came through. She had to replace her sliding glass doors. She had 2 sets of them, and the insurance company for 2 years has been fighting over replacing the doors. Like, there was a seal that was broken in the door, so, like, water could get through the door, and they didn't wanna cover the doors because it said the contractor is charging too much for those doors. Hello? Where have you been the past couple of years? The cost of materials have skyrocketed. So now 2 years later, she's actually having to meet the engineer this week for the engineer for the insurance company to evaluate the doors to see if, is it worth, can they cover the cost of those new doors? And it's just stupid. So that's the other issue too. You're paying for this insurance, and then sometimes you have to go and fight them on your claims. It's absolutely ridiculous. Same superstorm, I think, 1937. 1938. Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure, MH. I'm not have a history on, I don't know the history of hurricanes up here. Insurance increases haven't been nearly as bad as me for as tax increases. That's another problem too. We've been talking about that, and that's gonna continue. I'm just saying, guys, it's happening here. It's happening all over the place. Your values have gone up. Get ready. Hey, Lauren, what's going on? How long can something be on the market before I offer less? I mean, like 7% less. Pittsburgh was great last week, but the inventory wasn't that great. There were slanted floors in one. Yeah, I know a lot of the inventory is still really low, pretty much. Like up here in the Northeast, just because we don't have as much land as they do down south. So the inventory is still very low. Not everybody's selling. How long can something on the market you offer less? I would give it like 3 weeks to a month. If it's been on for about 30 days, you could probably go in and offer less. I don't see that as an issue. But I'm glad you had a good trip to Pittsburgh. Listed home 3 weeks ago in Maine, at odds with realtor regarding pre-approval to see home and offers contingent of buyer selling theirs. Makes no sense to show our house knowing people can't get financing. Yeah. Yeah, you wanna make sure people are pre-approved. Here's the hello, realtors. We don't take buyers out unless we have the pre-approval. I will not meet with a buyer. I will not waste my time to go show somebody a home if you don't have a pre-approval. I that's so that yeah, that hello. That's real estate 101. We don't show a house without the buyer's pre-approval. Yeah, you're right. You wanna make sure the person's qualified. Otherwise, you're wasting time. Hi, Jill. I live in a little town in Kansas. A single old lady bought a ugly tiny house for 60,000. She's putting 350,000 in it for a remodel, and people lost their mind. No, you know what? Sometimes it's good to buy the ugliest house on the block because now she's going to invest all that money. She's going to increase the value of her home and watch her sell it for a nice profit down the few years down the road. Um, Bubba Landy, you're new. Thanks for being here. Many cities will soon cut their train and subway service, which I think will have an impact on real estate values, incentives, car ownership, and de-incentivizes apartments, condos, and townhomes. I never heard anything about that, about cities cutting train and subway service. That's interesting. Huh. All right. Learn something new every day. How much should you have an emergency fund? Some people say 1 year salary. I'm curious what y'all think. I say 3 months, 3 to 6 months of your income. I didn't say a full year, but maybe like 3 to 6 months. It's first starting out. When you like after you close, you should have like 3 to 6 months of your income. That's what I think. But just to play it safe. Bucky says, wasn't always the case. Many people used to go house hunting without pre-approval. Listen, Bucky, since I've been in the business, I've been in it 10 years now, never went out with somebody without a pre-approval. Nope. Will not do that. Rude Rabbit. No, it's not fair. The insurance CEOs get $10 million bonuses while the company denies claims. Being we need it with the mortgage, government needs to take over and regulate it. I mean, well, you got to be careful with that too. You know what happens when the government gets involved. Yes, it's not just increased costs, it's the headache of insurance process and fixing something that if not fixed can lead to more property damage. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I hear many stories about that where people had like major damage to their house and now it's just they're having a hell of a time getting it repaired. Yes, 100% totally not fair. Pacific Palisades was avoidable. I live in LA. I mean, more houses could have been saved. Yeah, Lauren, I'm sorry that you had to live with that. But the more stories I'm seeing coming out about that, yeah, that could have been avoided. It's really frustrating. All right. So getting back to the insurance thing really quick, I want to share something else. Here we go. Where did it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Hold on, guys. Did I not pull it up? Hold on a minute. Okay, here it is. Oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind. Okay, homeowners insurance have soared over 50% in these states. This was just from May, from a couple months ago. All right, hope you guys can see that. All right. So this article, this is from CNBC, homeowners insurance rates have risen dramatically from an average of $2,656 annually in 2021 to $3,303 in 2024. That's a 24% increase, more than twice as fast as the rate of inflation in that same time frame. But that increase hasn't been uniform. According to a new report from the Consumer Federation of America, some states have been hit harder than others. The sharpest spike was in Utah, where they soared 59% from an average of $1,126 in 2021 to $1,795 just 4 years later. The chief culprits, according to the Utah Insurance Commissioner, are more homes being built in wildfire-prone areas and a traditionally underpriced insurance market finally adjusting for inflation. So the top 5 biggest increases were, look at this, Utah 59, Illinois 50%, Arizona 48%, Pennsylvania 44%, Nebraska 35%. Oh my. Can you imagine your insurance going up 59%? I'm freaking out over 27%. The skyrocketing price of insurance premiums is deepening the housing crisis, and homeowners across the country are feeling the strain. The report analyzes data from Quadrant Information Systems, which collected rates from more than 100 insurance companies across every zip code for a homeowner with mid-range credit score in a house with a $350,000 replacement value policy. So this is the chart. I hope you guys can see this. But this is the chart showing the increases. And you can see Utah was number 1. Where's Jersey? Oh, 26. Yeah, there you go. That's much 27%. So yeah, it was right in line there. Where is Florida? Florida's 29%. But isn't that interesting? So you have all these increases, and then Mississippi and West Virginia had decreases. Yeah, it says here 3 states did premiums decline or remain stagnant. West Virginia, Mississippi, and Wyoming had no change. According to the CFA, the most expensive states to insure your home are Florida, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Kentucky, and Nebraska. In Florida, a homeowner with fair credit and $350,000 dwelling coverage could expect to pay $9,462 a year. Whoa. That's a bump of 30% from 2021, when the same policy would average $7,344. Several factors have driven up premiums. Climate change, wildfires, flooding, and severe weather events are damaging more homes. Inflation, rising labor, construction, and building material costs have made homes more expensive to build and repair. Reinsurance. The reinsurance market is tight and rates have increased as providers pass the cost onto customers. And weak regulatory oversight. State insurance commissioners have given insurers much more leeway in raising premiums. So to go back to that person's comment, we need more regulation. So, but that again, that could be a double-edged sword. We got to be careful with that. Okay. All right. Cackleberry Cottage, how are you? It's been a while. We had earthquake insurance with the $30,000 deductible. In the front of the policy, it said that in a major quake, they won't have enough money to pay all the claims. So why have insurance? You're right. Why? Are you for real? They actually put that in there. Oh my God. Oh, I can't. Airborne says San Francisco Bay Area homeowners renewal from State Farm increases 17%. Yeah, California, I think you guys are going to get hit really bad after all these fires. Enough insurance money to cover a Cascadia event? Yeah, no. I mean, for them to say we may not have enough money to cover your claims, then why have it? You're right. Why have it? That makes no sense. Okay, how do you get an estimate on what homeowners insurance is for a house? So Lauren, you talk to different insurance companies, right? You're going to shop them out. This is what my husband's doing right now. So we currently have our insurance with Geico. Yeah, I think it's with Geico. No. I think it's with Geico. Or auto insurance is with Geico. I forget who we have homeowners insurance with, but anyway, he's been reaching out to different insurance companies and just to get different quotes. But make sure you're comparing apples to apples. Make sure whatever policy you get from one company, you get a quote. Make sure you take that same policy when you're talking to the next company, and just make sure it's the same coverage. We were paying $1,200 a year with Allstate for homeowners insurance and fire insurance. They canceled us 3 years ago, and now we get to pay $1,200 for homeowners and $4,500 for fire insurance with the California unfair plan. Whoa. Wow. That's awful. I called them to verify what I was reading, and they said, yes, that was correct, so we canceled it. I don't blame you. Are you for real? $4,500 for the fire insurance through the California plan? Oh, get out of here. Yeah, that's not That's not suspicious. Oh my gosh. I live in a San Antonio I live in a San Antonio suburb and pay 215 a month for home insurance. I don't think that's unreasonable, but 7,000 a year, that's crazy. It is crazy. My insurance, I think we pay like 2,200 a year. So 7,000 in Florida, but I'm saying this is why people are leaving Florida. This is one of the reasons because it's getting so expensive. And for a while there was I think they were down to like I think one insurance company that was available in Florida that people can get home insurance with. Like all these insurance companies were pulling out. And the same thing happened in California years ago with all the fires. So yeah, it's expensive. Should I work with an insurance broker or do my own research? You can work with an insurance broker. It'd be easier if you go with a broker. That's what I would do. Cackleberry says yes, and we are getting off cheap. Our neighbors with a new house are paying $10,000. Wow, that's insane. That is insane. I'm paying just under 800 a year. Oh my gosh, that's good. Good for you. Good for you, MH. So Jen, do we have any wins? It's 8 o'clock already. Do we have any wins? We don't have anybody sharing wins tonight. Nobody in the house. Well, I have some wins I want to share. So I want to congratulate. Now, these are people. So as you know, I offer a free service and I help people find realtors in their market if they need to sell a home or buy a home. Um, I have a whole network of agents and I do vet the agents. If it's an area I don't know, I do vet the agent and just make sure they're a good fit for the referral. So I want to congratulate some people that had some closings. So I have um Elizabeth in California. She just sold a home. Very excited for her. I want to congratulate the Van Winkle family in North Carolina. They closed on Friday. Nicole from Connecticut, I believe she was closing today on her purchase up in Connecticut. And Jeff and Kirsten, who also just recently closed on a home in Michigan. They worked with a fabulous agent out there that I hooked them up with. So yeah, so remember, you guys, I offer this free service. There's a link below. You click that link and it brings you to a quick form. And then you also will get a notification to fill out a questionnaire. Once I get that questionnaire back, then I'll be able to start the process to find an agent for you. But that questionnaire is super important and need to have that filled out. So here's a win. We got a $20,000 price reduction on the house I'm trying to buy, and we're doing FHA 203K, first time home buyer. Congrats. Ooh, that's a big win. I love that. Love that. All right, cool. So yeah, so with the referrals, we need an agent, make sure you do that. Click that link. So talking about insurance costs. So how do we, like Lauren asked before, like how do we go when we get quotes on homeowners insurance policies? Well, you can shop it out. Now, here's a suggestion. I found this for you guys. I wanted to share with you about how to save on your auto and home insurance. I mean, for this purpose, we really want to do home insurance. So it says here, this is from Kiplinger. I'll close you out. How to cut your auto and home insurance bills this year. Why auto and home insurance costs are on the rise and what you can do about it. Let me make you bigger. Okay. All right. See, look at this. In California and Florida, homeowners are struggling to find coverage while they're continually increasing rate hikes or moderating. Insurify predicts 5% increase in car insurance, full coverage premiums by the end of the year, with costs increasing by more than 50% in Maryland and Minnesota due to storms. All right. Let's go. 8 tips. All right, this is auto insurance. That doesn't help me. Okay, so basically, where the heck is the homeowners insurance thing? I had it here. All right. So bottom line is with your homeowners insurance, and this is what we've learned, increasing your deductible does make a difference, right? So if you increase your deductible, that will help. Also, what you wanna do is, again, talk to different companies. You'd be surprised. There's a lot of them out there, and you just wanna shop it out. I can't believe I thought this had the homeowners insurance tips on here. Shame on me for not being prepared. Sorry about that, guys. Um, yeah, some states, including New Jersey, Utah, and Vermont, still have relatively affordable homeowners insurance markets. Get the heck out of here. No, we don't. Anyway, no, we don't. No, we don't. Um, okay. Oh, we have a win. I closed on my first investment property this past Friday in Northern California. I got it for 5,000 under asking with seller credit for repairs. That's amazing. Congratulations. I love that. Um, oh, Jen, do you see Puggy 781? All right, we'll get to that. There was a win. Puggy 781 under contract in Middletown, Delaware. Congrats. That's awesome. Very familiar with that area. All right. Sorry, let's go back to Mohid's question. I lost a house which was bought with 585 cash, and my offer had an addendum that I would go till 590 if any offer, and I lost a house. Was my agent at fault? Not necessarily. If you lost it, they probably got more money. So if you were going to go to 590, somebody could have come in at 600, or they could have the other person had better terms. So it's not, listen, don't, I know everybody wants to blame the agents. We're not always to blame. It just could be that the other person, the winning bid was just, could have been slightly higher. They could have had slightly better terms. So when we are ready to start looking, we'll definitely ask you for a referral. I think the agents I am talking to aren't 100% truthful. Well, that's really sad. Yeah. They're out there. They're still out there. The story I just heard today about an agent my partner was dealing with, I'm not even gonna get into it, but I'm just like, how is she still licensed? It's beyond me. Stacy, thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm 56. Me too. Divorced and have been a homeowner since I was 23. Between the insurance going up, the appraiser thinking I'm hiding gold, and the maintenance, I'm ready to sell my house and rent. I don't blame you. I'm it's just it's out of control. But Stacy, thank you for that, for the super chat. That was very generous of you. I appreciate it. Lauren, yes. Thank you, Lauren. I'm so glad you got connected with Michael. Isn't he great? He's such a great guy. I love chatting with him. My buddy Clark, how are you? Have you guys found it cheaper to pay separate insurance on your home and car, or is it cheaper to bundle them? Because some insurance companies say you save when you bundle the two. So glad you brought that up. I feel like I'm a progressive commercial. Yes, it is cheaper when you bundle. This is one thing that we are doing. My husband's, when he's talking to these insurance companies, he said, well, if you bundle your auto insurance, you save money. It is true. It's, yeah. So, and believe me, we need to save on our car insurance. It's, it's out of control. Like when you got teenagers, young adults driving, it's really expensive. Blue Jeans 94 says, weird. My agent indicated that my 4-year-old roof was 35 years old, thus not covered. So my premium was less, huh? Hope my roof doesn't fall off. What? How did they say your 4-year-old roof is 35 years old and it's not covered? I mean, well, if it's older, they won't cover it. I think if it's like 25 years or older, they're not going to cover it. Even in some cases, like if they're 20 years old, they won't cover a roof. But oh my gosh, that's weird. I saved first when I bundled. Now I split using the same agent and saved. Interesting, MH. What company do you use? Interesting. All right. Deep Purple or Black Sabbath? Are you asking me who I like more? I would say Black Sabbath. That's a fun question. Thanks. That was a first. Okay. So what else? What else? I do have another report to share with you. Yep. It's just more of the same. Yep. Now this is from April. Okay. Now it says here, this report showing that from 2021 to 24, annual insurance premiums for a typical homeowner increased by an average of 648. Typical homeowners paid 3303. Premiums increased by 95% of US zip codes, and consumers of one-third of the zip codes saw the premiums rise by more than 30%. Sharpest increases, 59% in Utah, 50 as we said before. Let me see here. Okay. Average annual Illinois. So if anybody's in Illinois, average annual Illinois premiums are rising by 50% from roughly 2,000 to 3,000 over the past 3 years. It's time for policymakers to take action on homeowners insurance. This is the director of the Illinois Public Interest Research Group and the Illinois Education Fund. At a minimum, Illinois should empower the Department of Insurance to reject or modify excessive rate hikes, which would represent a basic consumer protection that residents in almost every state enjoy. Skyrocketing double-digit increases in homeowners insurance premiums and the potential inability to find adequate insurance, particularly in areas prone to wildfire, have the potential to wreak havoc on household budgets in Arizona. This report highlights the growing crisis occurring at the intersection of housing, climate change, and property insurance. In addition to recommending several insurance reforms and investments to address the issue, CFA underscored a significant need for improved public data collection about the insurance market to help policymakers better address this emerging disaster. CFA calls on lawmakers and regulators to require insurance companies to publicly disclose all transactions with consumers in ways that mirror the detailed data reporting of mortgage applications. Mortgage lenders have been required to report detailed mortgage data annually under the Home Mortgage Disclosure Act since 1975. While the National Association of Insurance Commissioners collected limited data about homeowners insurance last year, the Federal Insurance Office has only made some of that data public. In overburdened, CFA makes policy recommendations regarding the need for increased investments in loss prevention, risk mitigation, and resilience. The creation of a federal reinsurance backstop to address the high cost of the insurance for insurance companies that is sold on an unregulated global market, and improving oversight of insurance company rate increases by state insurance departments. In the coming months, CFA will be working with state partners throughout the country to further drill down on the unique data in this report, detail the scale of the challenges facing homeowners in their states, and identify opportunities for addressing the homeowners insurance crisis that is overburdening millions of Americans across the nation. So there is a lot of call for regulation at the state level. And listen, I'm for it. We need to get something. We got to get something done here to get it under control. But again, let's be careful when you get the government involved, because that could get a little hairy too. So it's a double-edged sword. How are we doing on our poll? All right. All right. I'm not going there yet. You guys could all see it, but anyway, what else we got? We had to send the CA Fair Plan the receipts from the shingles we bought when we redid our roof in 2018. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. But be careful with the roof stuff, guys. I've said this to you before, and I've shared the story where I heard of people losing their homeowners insurance after they just closed on their home because the insurance company came out and saw that the roof was older, and it was on the older side. And like, we're talking like 20 years old. Now, the life of a roof, you're talking like 25 years. I think, but you can push it to 30, but once it hits like 20 years, they'll drop you. You got to be careful. Johan, I hope I'm saying your name right. Thank you for being here. Just bought a house, 2,176 square feet. I received some ad mail to say it's only 1,667 square feet. Do I need to contact my agent to ask him how big the house is? Yes. You can go to the you can even go to the town and look at the tax records. But your realtor should be able to pull up the tax records through the multiple listing service. So here in Jersey, I don't know where you are. If you're in New Jersey, little thing here, if you're thinking about buying a house, you we can't put the square footage on multiple listing. So if you go to any other state, like New York, go right over the border to New York. You look on multiple listing, it gives you the square footage of the house. Not in Jersey. We have to go through the tax records, and even then we have to say approximate. So I'm not sure again where you are, but you can definitely go back to your agent and have them. They should be able to check the tax records for you for that. Lauren, so how would you know why your offer didn't get accepted? Well, your agent should go back and ask for feedback. That's what I do. I'll ask for feedback and say, what did, why didn't we get accepted? And, the agent will reveal like, well, the offer that was accepted was, was the highest number, had the best terms, things like that. So yeah, your agent should find that out. So, oh, you're in Illinois. Okay. I'm not sure how Illinois works, but yeah, you can go back to your realtor and ask them to verify the square footage, or again, you can go directly to your local municipality. You are so welcome. You are so welcome. Hello, my friend. You didn't get the notification? Come on. You know what you should just put in your calendar? Just to remind yourself. Yes, insurance is frightening. This is what we've been talking about. Very frightening. And it could lead to foreclosures. And we can't have that happen. We can't have like another subprime situation because of insurance costs. I mean, that's just outrageous. So really quick, I came across, I'm like obsessed with TikTok. I have like a problem. I'm addicted to it. I came across a video today, TikTok video today of this woman sharing her story. It was just totally off topic. It has nothing to do with insurance, but I wanted to share this with you. Oh my God. She bought a house. She was talking her story, telling a story about how she bought her first house back in 2007, 2006. And when she closed on the house, come to find out the next door neighbors were like awful people, god awful people. Like she said they would be in their house and they had like a lot of windows in the back of the house, and they would be in their yard. Neighbors would be in their yard staring at them in their house, still looking at them. She said when she had her baby, she was nursing her baby, and the husband from next door would be standing on his deck, like looking into her window, watching her. Then they started just doing god awful things to them. Yeah. So the biggest thing is so awful. So they ended up, the lady was saying they ended up getting a dog. They adopted a dog. Her kids were really little. They were in the backyard. And the wife came out screaming. The wife from next door came out screaming at them for whatever reason it was. Like this is like a daily occurrence. These people were just like flipping out on them for no reason. So they go in the house, and then she's like, her dog, she didn't know where the dog went. So she's calling the dog. So finally the dog comes in the house, and the dog is foaming at the mouth. And she's like, oh my gosh. So her husband takes the dog, rushes him to the vet. While he's at the vet, she's at home with the kids freaking out. She gets a phone call from an unlisted number, and it was the woman on the other side. It was the next door neighbor, the wife, saying, I hope you enjoy your little surprise. Come to find out, thank God the dog survived. The neighbor gave the dog Alka-Seltzer. They were trying to poison their dog. Oh my gosh. Like, are you kidding me? So it got me thinking, you don't know when you're buying a house, you don't know who you're going to be living next to. So her advice, which I thought was good, do research on your neighbors. Like, check for like police records. There's this app called Forewarn, and it gives you a lot of information. So if you're going to be buying a house, like, you want to do research on the people that live on the block and find out who you're living next to. Because I heard this story. I was sick for her. Like, can you imagine? Listen, my first house We did not have the best neighbors next door to us. They were very loud. They had parties every weekend. It was just I couldn't enjoy my backyard. It was so aggravating. Um, but like now, like when I think of like, oh my God, the next house I'm gonna buy, like I hope I end up surrounded by good neighbors. But this woman's story really just kind of freaked me out a little bit. So just a little piece of advice. Go do your background, do background like checks, not do background checks, but like do your research on the neighbors, see who you're dealing with. So we got more comments, Jen. What do we got? Hello, Travis. People really need to study the history of mortgage interest rates and learn to understand that even today's rates are the actual norm. Yes. You know, my client asked me the other day was so my client, I adore him. This is the one I just got him. We just got his offer accepted. He goes, what were the interest rates at when you bought your first house? I bought my first house in 1998. You know what the interest rate was? 6%. And now we're at 6.5%. So Travis, thanks for bringing that up because people were they got too used to those interest rates at below 4%. And I'm sorry, they were low for a little too long. They were too low for too long. And now people just still can't get past the idea of like, oh my God, the interest rates are 6.5%. And look, the housing prices need to come down too. I mean, that's everyone's biggest thing. I mean, the housing prices are just out of control. But yeah, this is like a norm. This is like the norm, the interest rates. Homeowners insurance in Oregon from a single family home is $14.50 per year. Mark, you're very lucky. That's cheap. Everyone's going to move to Oregon now. Clark says in Georgia, people change the square foot all the time. Shake my head. It says MLS square foot, tax square foot. So I go by the tax records. Yeah, Clark, that's what we do too. I always check the tax records. I mean, well, we have to because we can't put it on MLS. It'll also say owner put the square footage in. I'm like, was an appraisal done to justify the square foot you put in the listing? Probably not. Probably not. The pistol hour. Why is it when there is a repair that needs done on the roof of the house is when all the roof companies guys come around? Why is it when there's a repair that needs to be done all the roof? I don't know, because they do. Yeah. So how do you vet the neighbors? Just like that. Like there's this app, Forewarn. You can do that. And or you could just like go like those like you can do a search like for police. What do you call them? Criminal records, police records, whatever. You can look for that. Yeah, I think anybody can use it. I know a lot of real estate agents use it. A lot of agents do. I don't. I don't have a subscription to it. I don't know how much it is, but yeah, you can. I had the partying neighbors, but since then they turned into best neighbors you'd want to have. Well, that was good. Good for you. I didn't have that experience, unfortunately. Question, do I need to do something if they're listing the wrong square footage of the house that I bought? Instead of 1667, they listed for 2176 square foot. Yeah. So they're saying they listed it for more than I don't know. I really don't know because they misrepresented. They misrepresented the size of the house. I would go talk to your realtor about that. See if you have any recourse on that. Hello, Candy C. Why don't cities and towns crack down on more abandoned homes, manufacturing, build affordable housing, smaller homes? You know, I would love to have the answer to that. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. Is it good? It's going to cost them money? I don't know. You think they would? Unfortunately, I think there's some drug addicts bought the house in front of me. Oh no. I hope that's not the case. I'm sorry. Clark uses it is free. Oh, nice. You get it for free through your MLS? I'm gonna have to talk to my MLS. Hopefully we can get that for free one day. That's good. That's good for you, Clark. Yeah, I need to get it. Our problem is that houses go up for sale and get bought and made into Airbnbs. The neighbors get no say in the matters. Oh my god. So your town didn't put any restrictions? A lot of towns and cities have put restrictions on the number of Airbnbs that are allowed. Oh, that's sad. I'm sorry. Just downloadable. Check this out. Good, you do that. Oh, as you said, forewarned is 25 a month. I thought it was more than that. All right, thanks, MH. I am going to sign up for that. Thank you. All right, oh, cool. We still got the questions coming in. Jill says that story right there is why I live in the South. I have a blue healer and a sign that says my dog can make it across the yard in 2.5 seconds. Can you? Yeah. Someday defect. What's going on? I haven't seen it in a while. I have a broker check my insurance rates every 2 years. I have owned this current house for 5 years and the insurance has increased 60%. I own outright, so this year I capped the coverage. Oh my gosh, 60%. And I'm crying over 27. Holy cow. Joe Jones, how are you? When I bought my first house, the neighbors are great. A short time later, others bought their house and had dogs barking all night. They were horrible. I know. It's just, and see, that's the thing too. When the house next door to you sells, you don't know who's moving in. That could be, I know, it could be a problem. Yeah, I'm sorry. All right. What does Cackleberry say? Not very. Oh, okay. Yeah, not very many. We had 3,000 residents, over 500 Airbnbs. That's ridiculous. They got to put a limit on that. That's not right. You shouldn't all have to live with that. That's just me. Tell them I said so. Craigslist, you can download it. You can just go into you can look it up on the App Store, Forewarn, and you can download it. It's not just for real estate agents. Anybody can sign up for that. All right. So, I think this is what I got for now, you guys. So, I hope this helped you guys out. Again, link down below description in the description box if you need an agent in your area. It's a free service. I'm happy to help you out. If you're also looking to buy or sell here in North Jersey, there's another link there. You want to work with me and my team, we would love to work with you. Click that link. There's a form, fill it out, and I will schedule a Zoom consults call. Oh, wait, I think we're going to have Travis, do you have a question? Are you sure I looked at what it says for real estate agents or professionals? Oh, I thought it was for anybody. I'm sorry. Clark, is that just for real estate agents? I thought it was for anybody because somebody else told me about it too. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, who owns the city council? I don't know. People who are lining their pockets? I don't know. Anyway, all right, you guys. I really appreciate y'all being here. I will see you all next week. Even though it is Labor Day, I will still be here. I'm just, got to keep this thing going every week. So I hope you all enjoy the last few days of summer. God, I can't believe it's the end of the summer already. Enjoy it. Have a great Labor Day weekend, and I will see you guys all next time. Have a good one.